doing?
Trying to get this set up. Trying to get your mug in the frame.
I don't need to be in it. You can put the entire thing on you.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Gonna put your mug in the frame too. Hello, Albert. Hello, ACNC12, Adrienne. Christy, smash it. Hello, Rosa Caceres. Hello, Sin. I will have you know I was ready to go on time today. Hello, Michael Melkos. Linda Wynn.
I told you what time I would be home.
Hello,
and
Taylor.
I was here when I said.
My man. Hello, Christy. Hello, Obble Cakes Nicole. Hello, Evangelina Guerra. Rachel Boren. Hello, Darla, Chris, Kitten Tracks. Hello, beautiful person, Hunter Herb. Hello, Liz Key. Not to be confused with Elizabeth Betts or Elizabeth Estrada. Those are three different people. Hello, Michelle Stubblefield. I know a Stubblefield. Went to high school with a Stubblefield. Hello, Senya Villegas. Hello, Tori Cox. Hello, Charles. Smash it. Laura Shelton. There she is.
Hey, Laura.
What's Mama doing? Mama. Hello, Darla. Sin, do something funny. Is that what you want me to do? Be funny? That's what Shanda told me when I was sitting behind my birthday cake shirtless. She said, do something funny. Like, what am I, a monkey? You gonna toss me a Chex Mix? Say, do something funny? Hello, Shannon. Has anyone smashed it? Is anyone smashing it? Hello, Kellie 1177. My golf game? I don't know. I haven't hit a ball in a few years now, so I don't know. It always comes back pretty fast, though. I'd have to hit a few buckets and get the feel back, I think. Hello, Kathy Armstrong. You don't have a cousin named Lance, do you? All right, man.
Ready?
Just waiting on you.
You're not waiting on me. You're saying hello to everybody as they file in.
What about Liz, chopped liver? Okay. Let's see here. My handy dandy app. What am I looking for here? Oh, okay, here we go. You ready?
Yep. Test 1, 2, test. Test me, test you.
Colin Forsex, please pick up the red courtesy phone. Colin Forsex, please pick up the red courtesy phone.
It's a good one, babe. That's so good.
Colin Forsex.
Just hit it. Oh, I got to get the pre-roll. No what?
You're not ready.
I am ready.
Okay, you can do that first?
Yes. If you're a small business owner, get ahead of the holiday chaos this year and get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code SANDWICH for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage. Blah, blah, blah. Let's take two. Let's just get ahead of the holiday chaos this year. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code SANDWICH for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the homepage, and enter code SANDWICH. Welcome to A Sandwich and Some Lovin'. I am Kellie Rasberry Evans, and I am here with my trusty sidekick. He happens to be my husband and podcast partner. Husband for just over 5 years, podcast partner just a little bit longer, Alan Evans.
I train in the house.
That was a little or no fanfare there from you.
They're getting short. Have you noticed? Over the years, they've become shorter and shorter.
No, they got longer and longer.
No, did they?
Oh yeah, you made a big deal about him not too long ago.
Well, I first started out, I think, with saying hello, I'm Alan, and then I did hello, I'm Alan, A train, and made a big fanfare, and then I dropped the hello, I'm Alan, and then just went to A train, and now I'm just doing a train in the house. So it's evolved.
Okay, let's see what you evolve to next.
I'll just grunt.
Always
Blah,
changing.
blah.
Like I said, I wanted to change the way things are done on this show, but apparently no.
What do you want to do?
I wanted to come up with new intros, outros, and all that sort of good
New
stuff.
intros and outros.
Intros and outros. That was my goal.
Let me ask you a question.
But somebody told me that there's something comforting about the familiar.
Are you familiar with Big Walt Cronkite?
Yeah.
Did he ever change his outro?
Babe, how long has Walter Cronkite been dead? I don't even remember what he used to say.
Well, he's a household name.
But what did he used to say? What was his tagline?
I don't know.
Then what about? Okay, there you go. Nobody remembers it.
Paul Harvey.
Good day. That I remember.
Yeah,
that's an easy one.
Boy, we're showing our age by bringing those up, aren't we? He always had the same sign.
I don't remember what it was though. You don't either.
Well, I was a little kid.
What are you You're saying I'm not?
No, I'm just saying when he was on the news.
Anyway,
I was a little kid.
Speaking of being a little kid, my little kid is not a little kid anymore, Emma Kellie, and made the decision to sign her up for driving lessons at a driving school. And it was a big hot mess. It was a last minute decision. I called to get information about it at approximately 5:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, wasn't it? And the woman that answered the phone was very gracious. And she said, well, if she comes tonight, she can get started. Otherwise, she has to wait until October 10th. And she said, you got 30 minutes to get here. So I went and told Emma Kellie, do you want to do this or do you want to wait? She goes, let's go. So we went and then she found out that it's how many weeks? It's 4 weeks, Monday through Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. That's just the scheduled class time she has to be there. Alan got to witness the battle royale on the way home from picking her up. From your outside perspective, what was that like?
Well, gosh, it really wasn't a boda. It was just, you told her this was the hours and the time of the class. And then it was almost like this gigantic tidal wave of just complaining and whining.
A lot of
whining.
And a mini fit was pitched.
Yeah, but
it would have been worse if you hadn't been in the car.
You think so?
Oh, definitely.
But when you presented the fact that you can go to this class and get your license, or you can just blow the whole thing off and then figure out how you're going to get your driver's license at some point, that seemed to kind of shake some reality into her.
She doesn't understand why she has to go through all the rigmarole of you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to go through all the special classes. And I was like, honey, speaking of back in the old days, I was like, I don't know what it's like in South Carolina now, but in 1980-ish, we didn't have to do nothing. We took the little test to get your learner's permit, and then you went out and took a driver's test. I failed my first time because I told Emma Kellie, I thought I knew how to drive. I just got in the car. I didn't know how to parallel park. What's that? Oh, I need to parallel park. I tried it, I think, for the first time on my driver's test. I didn't know how to back up except looking in the rearview mirror, which is wrong. I think my hands were in the position.
Hand.
I think my hands were in 7 and 5. I think that's where I was driving the entire time. And the instructor never said a word till I got back to the little DMV, and he said, "Well, you failed."
In the middle of Emma Kellie's meltdown, she asked me very vehemently, well, Alan, did you have to do this?
And
I said, well, Emma Kellie, I remember my mother taking me to driver's ed, but it was in the mornings. And I just
during summer.
Yeah, I had forgotten my birthday is in the summer. So she must have been taking me, the summer leading up to my 16th birthday or 15th birthday, whatever, 16th birthday in August. So yeah, I did go to driver's ed because I remember her driving me every morning. I would go to a class, we do a little bit of driving, and then she'd pick me up.
Well, the problem that we were running into is Emma Kellie suddenly is very interested in going to all the football games. Now, there is a bye week this week. So this was not a factor. But for the next 3 to 4 weeks, or for 3 weeks, because this will count as 1 week, then 3 more weeks, she's going to have to miss some football games. Drama. Now, the driver's instructor says she's allowed 5 absences, but she has to make those up. I said, you need to decide if it's important enough to you to have to make up those just so you can go sit in the stands and talk and gossip with your friends, because she ain't watching the football game.
I wasn't going to jump in the middle of y'all's discussion, but when you said she has basically 5 excused absences, all she has to
Not
do...
excused. She still has to make them up.
Right. But all she has to... They're excused because you just have to make them up.
Right.
When I heard you say that, I'm like, what? So what's the issue? Because how many football games are left? And how many are on the road versus how many are at home? And this is a bye week. So it was much to do about nothing. It was a bunch of hullabaloo about nothing.
Well, she's pretty upset, but I went,
but I don't understand about what.
It's boring, and she doesn't, I just like, the teacher is a real stickler. And I was like, this is good. I said, she's going to nitpick you so much that when you do finally go take that driver's test, it's going to be a breeze, right? She's going to nitpick every little tiny things that I can't correct her on. And let's be honest, Alan has been letting her drive to school in the mornings, and Kellie's not listening to this podcast. So why don't you give everybody an update on her driving abilities? Are they improving?
Well, I always offer to Emma Kellie, I'm like, do you want to get some practice in this morning? I'd say most of the time she goes, yeah. And I'll flip her the keys, and then she'll get in the truck and we'll take off. We go pick up Ava. Today we didn't, but...
Ava didn't go today with us?
No, she had a golf tournament.
Oh.
So it was just me and Emma Kellie. And, I have to remember, Emma Kellie's 15. This is a gigantic responsibility, driving a 4,000-pound metal vehicle on public roads.
Which is what the teacher keeps telling her.
Yeah.
You are driving a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah,
truly.
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
So I try to remember that. But, man, I tell you what, one thing she's doing, it honestly, it puckers me up, but I got to stay calm. When we come to a stop, she'll keep going. So that half of the vehicle is in the crossing street.
The traffic is going to hit you.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm trying to stay calm, and I'm trying to say, Emma Kellie, come to a complete stop, and then when you feel the car kind of sag, you look both ways, and then you can go. And she goes, "Ooh, I took that turn too wide," and I could have said, "Well, that's because you pulled halfway into the street." I didn't say that. I just said, I think if you stop a little sooner and get your wheels on that white line, it'll make that turn into the right lane. It'll make it a lot easier for you.
See?
So that's
and coming from you, it's perfectly fine.
So
coming from me. I don't want to drive anymore with you. I can't drive with you.
So anyway. I try to stay as calm as I can and just give her more warm fuzzies than cold pricklies, especially for a new driver. But man, this morning it's like every street we approached, I swear, babe, the whole front half of the truck is out on the street. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? So
maybe we need to take her out when it's not morning getting to school and just let her practice stopping at stop signs and crosswalks and things.
Overall,
I don't know.
She's doing pretty well. I mean, I always remember, look, she's 15 years old 15. And she just started. So she's not doing bad. It's just when you're in the passenger seat and you have no control, and I know a lot of our listeners have gone through this and they put their foot through the floorboard and maybe they yelled and screamed or whatever, but man.
Even the driving instructor told me she has 3 boys that are all grown drivers now, and she couldn't teach them because she's their mother. Mm-hmm. And it's just not, it's just not a good dynamic. You need to have these driver schools. She also told me that, people that do the parent talk classes, she's like, it's really, she does, doesn't look like that's the best option, because you do end up blowing off a lot of things. You just blow it off because you're not a stickler for detail like a driving school would be. And she also said that, now I don't know what it's like in your state, and this is what she told me. We have not looked into it, but she said going through a driver's school like this will save us 10% on our car insurance for her as a driver for 3 years.
With no long-term commitments or contracts.
For 3 years. So that more than covers the cost of what this driver's course is. So anyway, there's that. She's been through, 2 nights of living hell. If you asked her, it's just she's bored out of her mind. But, we're going to get her behind the wheel. She's going to do great. And I can't wash my hands completely of this because she still has to get the hours in with us. We've got to take her night driving and highway driving and things like that. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But her dad's coming in this weekend, so I'm like, you take over for
he can get some windshield time.
Yeah, he will. He's good about that. So anyway, that's what we're going through right now. In addition to Emma Kellie getting her driver's license, hopefully in a month or so, we got a soon-to-be double-digiter.
We do.
Dylan.
You're talking about the Dillster.
Dylan, yes.
The Dillster, 10.
It's hard to believe.
On Saturday.
I was going through pictures in my cell phone. And because Sin Galvin, who does a lot of our social media, Alan gave her a tremendous amount of grief for a picture she chose
Not true.
of him
Not
and
true.
what she did to your hair.
Who got more grief, me or Sin Galvin?
I'm just saying.
That'd be me.
You gave her grief as well. And she's like, well, if y'all would give me pictures to work with. So I went through my phone. You saw me sitting there for a while, scrolling all the way back to when Alan and I first met in 2016. And I sent her, I was like, my eyes were starting to cross and I was starting to get under boob sweat. I was like, I got to get out of this closet. It was so hot. It was hot. But I sent her some new pictures. So you'll be seeing, hopefully on our social media, some better pictures of Alan and me. But I saw pictures of when I first met the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because we
went to Dairy Queen. Or Brahms.
Brahms, yeah. We went to some little play area where the kids could play games. And Emma Kellie.
Like Kids Mania or
something like that. So Emma Kellie could meet the kids.
Right.
And then we went for ice cream. But just, we dated 6 months before we met. I met the kids. And just babies.
Everybody was little.
Just babies.
Except us.
And it's hard to believe.
We're big people.
I know.
Big framed people.
Well, I've been smaller framed over the years.
Somebody commented on a picture of my sister because I posted pictures of my sister for her birthday. She just had a birthday, September the 9th. Yeah, because we had talked about
the most popular birthday in America. Yeah.
And there were some pictures of you and my sister and me and my sister, and whoever commented said, yeah, Kellie and Alan, y'all are always talking about how you're big framed people, and I didn't think so until I saw these pictures.
Yeah, you see us up next to regular sized people.
Standing next to my sister.
Well, speaking of Dylan's birthday, if we didn't already have this, I'm going to tell you what, this is what we would be getting him. If you've got a child with a birthday coming up, the holidays are right around the corner, you're looking for that perfect gift, we're going to tell you about the ultimate gaming experience. Level up your game, your kids' game with Backbone. This is a universal gaming essential that instantly enhances the gaming experience on your mobile phone. Alan and I are really bad about reading instructions. Would you say that? I mean, well, you're better than I am.
I'm better than you, but not great.
I'm like, let's just plug it in and see if we can figure it out. Our son Cole had his friend Christian over, and we got these Backbones in. And Christian's like, I got it.
I got this.
I got this. How long did it take him to get that thing up and running?
Oh, about 3 seconds.
About 3 seconds.
Downloaded a free app, logged in, and he's off and running.
Yes, it is so, and they love it. These are 13-year-old boys.
Yep.
Obsessed with this Backbone system. And they just released an officially licensed controller for PlayStation, Backbone 1 PlayStation Edition. So that's something that's, if you have a gamer, if you are a gamer, that would be interesting to note for you. The special edition was brought to life in collaboration with PlayStation's design team and inspired by the design of the PS5 DualSense controller. You just plug in your iPhone like Christian did right in front of us. You plug in your iPhone to the Backbone and you can enjoy console quality controls as you play console games via remote play or cloud streaming services and app store games. We highly recommend this. If you were like racking your brain, holidays are right around the corner. Backbone is a must.
You know who really recommends it? I asked the boys, what do you rate this thing on a scale of 1 to 5? They said 12.
12.
So go to playbackbone.com/sandwich now to order your Backbone and for a limited time and get free access to over 350 console games and perks. Backbone is now the official partner of Diablo Immortal. Not only is the game specifically optimized for Backbone, but you will also receive $10 of in-game perks. Find your next adventure at playbackbone.com/sandwich.
Got all that? It'll be in the show notes if you didn't have time to write that down.
I
We'll
like
look at that later.
perks.
Perks are fun. All right, so Alan, a couple of let me pull this up. I've got 5 different screens I'm trying to keep track of on my laptop. First of all, real quick, I always try to give a shout out to let you know what podcasts I'm listening to on my walks and things. And somebody alerted me to the fact that Living with Landon, that I've been following on Instagram for years, she has a podcast. It's called Living with Landon Hutchinson.
We've been to her store.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. They shut it down in Nashville.
Did they really?
Yeah, she had so much other stuff going on. It was a dream, and she lived it and realized, much as we did with Emma Kellie,
Kind of like we did.
It's a lot. But anyway, her most recent episode, 81, she does a year in review, and it's the year 2018. And she sits down with her assistant, Anne Claire, who travels with her, does the photography, is just like her right hand. And they just literally sit there and go through their phones, looking at pictures like I did looking for pictures for Sin. They just start January 1 of 2018 and they scroll their phone and they walk down memory lane. Alan, they had between them, I might be a little off, but over 30,000 pictures.
That's a lot of pictures.
It was a lot between the two of them, 30 or 40,000 pictures. Anyway, she talks about meeting me.
Did she really?
Yes.
What'd she say?
Well, in 2018, she came to Dallas.
Yeah.
And she went to an appearance at a Kohler store where she was talking about, I'm doing this meet and greet with people around toilets and sinks. And it was just a lot of fun. She said, but people kept coming up to her and saying, I found you through Kellie Rasberry. And she says, who's Kellie Rasberry? We're not syndicated in Nashville. She had no idea because she's from Nashville. And she said she kept hearing my name over and over. They were like, we got to find who this Kellie Rasberry is. And so Anne Claire reached out to me through Facebook, and I about had a heart attack. And you were here.
Yeah.
This was in 2018.
Yeah.
And she came by the Kid Craddock morning show.
National
And she kept saying, they called it the Kellie Rasberry show, which I think is sweet. And I don't correct her because I love that. But anyway.
She called it the Kellie Rasberry show?
But then they ended up saying Kid Craddock. But anyway, she talks about it and she's very complimentary and sweet. So
that's
if
awesome.
You want to check out Living with Landon, she's a lifestyle entrepreneur. As I've always said, she's like sunshine on my Instagram feed. So I love following Living with Landon on Instagram. But speaking of iPhones and, wherever you scroll looking for your Instagrams, Apple, they held their press event a little over a week ago because every time you turn around, they got to put out a new iPhone. So you suddenly, right. So they unveiled their new iPhone 14 lineup. Mm-hmm. A lot of people may be thinking of gift ideas for Christmas. I don't know. But they have also, with the iPhone 14 lineup, 3 new Apple Watches, updated AirPods Pro as well. The iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus features a larger screen, longer battery life. The new camera has bigger pixels, a faster aperture, and improved sensors. I don't know what that means. What's
camera stuff?
But you studied camera stuff. What's aperture?
Oh gosh, all the photographers will kill me.
It will just focus quicker, maybe.
Aperture, I think, is how much light the lens lets in.
And a new, deep purple shade. I guess that's for the cover, because I remember.
The phone color.
When I got the 10R, I got coral. It was so beautiful. I love that color.
Did you hear about Steve Jobs' daughter?
What about her? I read
whose name is Eve Jobs.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
Well, Steve and Eve. There you go.
So he named his daughter after him?
Maybe not. Maybe the woman, maybe that was her favorite name when she was. I had Emma Kellie picked out when I was in 6th grade. What if I married a man whose last name was Kelly? I'd be Kellie and my daughter would be Emma Kellie.
Be really strange.
Right?
Yeah, apparently she posted something, she tweeted something that was like yawn or something derogatory about the release, and she quickly removed it.
Well,
but even she
probably
was
got a talking to.
she was unimpressed.
AirPods Pro 2 have a longer lasting battery, feature a button at the bottom of the case to alert you to its location, and improved and dynamic noise cancellation technology. The Apple Watch Ultra, designed for the outdoor enthusiasts, as it features a brighter display and is even more water resistant. So you can decide for yourself if what you have is good enough to wait till the next version comes out, or if you want to try one of these. But also, if you've done the new iOS 16 update,
Mhm.
I know not everybody listening has Apple products, so this is, trust me, I'm just going to breeze over this really quick.
90% do, though.
Apple's latest software update is now available, iOS 16.
And then there's Craig and Susan and your mom and dad.
Right.
Yeah.
The updated software has some changes users have been asking for, such as they were able to edit and unsend recently sent iMessages. You can unsend a message and edit
Oh, a text?
an iMessage. It
Oh,
says.
yeah. Okay.
And
I saw that today, and I was like,
Yeah.
what is that?
That's what
Somebody
it is.
sent me a message, but then I guess they edited it because it said this message has been edited.
Well, that's good. It lets you know that.
Yeah.
It also gives the ability to mark iMessages as unread if you want to come back to them later. One of the new features, the interactive lock screen, giving users the ability to create multiple lock screens with different backdrops that can be switched out during the day. I don't care about that. Lock screens can feature custom fonts, new photo effects, personalized wallpapers, and widgets. And perhaps the most fun feature of all, the ability to cut out the subject from an image or its background and drop it elsewhere, such as into an iMessage.
This is all well and good, but you know what 3 features that I want?
What?
I want a phone that has a good battery life.
Yeah.
I want a phone that has a really good camera, and I want a phone that doesn't crash.
There you go.
That's really all I want at the end of the day.
Well,
I want to load my apps. I don't want them to crash. I don't want it to be slow. And I just want a really great camera because I take a lot of pictures.
well, the camera has improved over the years.
I have 66,000 pictures.
Total.
Yeah.
Well, that was there when I told you about Landon and Claire's. That was like just from 2018. I was talking.
Wow.
About, yeah.
That's a lot of pictures.
Yeah. So anyway.
Wow. That's a lot of pictures.
Well, they document everything because her living is on social media, so she has to have a lot of stuff. We should take more. I'm really bad about it.
Well, you should take more.
We both should, but I should. We emphasizing me. How about that? Are you ever curious about what people make, what people earn?
Oh, what people
for
earn?
Jobs? Like
sort of, but they're all on the public record.
Not all.
Well, the ones that I'm interested in are.
Like who?
Like I don't care what an accountant makes.
But that's interesting, though. If you
I don't care what a butcher makes.
But if you look, I know a lot of times you look at people's houses and you're like, how can they afford to live in that house?
But
what do they do?
But I want to know how much Shaquille makes.
Well, I mean,
you can find that out.
That and people like on the school board and stuff like that, you can find out teacher jobs and things like that. But I know a lot of people are very curious what radio people make. I know they all think we're all rich, and I've done well. I didn't start off doing well. Well, no, it's true, Alan. It's not a dime. But people, it's not a dime.
Easy.
How can I have a mature conversation about income if you're going to do that to me? But don't do that to me.
Somebody wrote me one time and said, "Why doesn't Kelly just ignore you when you do that? Because you do that, so she'll say that."
But it hurts my feelings. I don't like it.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I don't like it because I don't think I'm bragging. I'm just talking.
Y'all stop bickering.
I'm not bickering. I'm just saying, please stop it. You don't like it.
Oh, okay.
But when I started off in radio, I was making minimum wage, and I didn't always get paid. I would show up, and if they used me on the air, they would pay me. And sometimes they would say, "Oh, you worked an hour this week," and they literally pay me for an hour of work. But, I've been putting in the years. And so eventually your pay does come, but not always. A lot of people get out of radio because they just can't afford it. They're working 2 or 3 jobs, and then they get married and have kids. And it's hard. Some people do strike it rich, Ryan Seacrest or Rick Dees or Casey Kasem and those types of people. But the average person getting by in radio, right? But don't you wonder what some people are making? I do. And BuzzFeed is fun for things like this. One of the writers, Hannah Dobragos, she asked her follower, Hannah Dobragos, and I probably butchered it.
Is that one of our lewd names?
No, Dobragos.
Okay.
How's that lewd?
I don't know. It just sounded
Hannah
lewd.
Dobragos. Anyway, she asked her followers to tell what their jobs are and how much they make. And, when it's anonymous, people just tell you, right? You want to hear some of them?
Sure.
Interested?
Yes.
This person works in the film industry as an actress and a stunt woman.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It varies. She said she's earned anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000 a year. It's based on the amount of work she books. But the problem is she always has to be available when a job comes along. She said she missed out on a regular series regular role because she wasn't available for one day, her wedding day, and said, I can't, I'm getting married. So she lost out on a really big paying gig. But anyway, there you go. How about the founder, owner, and CEO of a small craft brewery?
Okay.
What would you think? Owner, CEO, small craft brewery.
Well, how much beer did he sell?
Well,
it could be nothing to millions of dollars.
35 grand.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it for a year.
He's just starting out, huh?
6-year teaching elementary school at the same small town school in Michigan. I'm sure it varies by states. A 6-year teacher at an elementary, only $39,000 a year after 6 years.
Sounds about right.
Owner of a design and marketing firm says he or she averages $230,000 a year. It depends on projects.
Canda Media.
230. Really? A therapist said they earn between $22,000 and $50,000 a year. I guess it depends on how many patients you have.
Yeah.
I would think a therapist would make more than that. A real estate agent. Now, we know a lot of real estate agents.
They can bank.
They can. Or they can struggle.
Yeah.
But this one who filled out the survey said they earn $300,000 a year. I don't know.
If you get a 3% commission on, 5 or 6 houses.
Well, if you're watching Selling the OC or Selling Sunset,
there you go.
Commission on a multi-million-dollar home, you're set for the whole year. Police detective in a decent-sized city in the Midwest, $90,000 a year before overtime and benefits.
How much?
$90 grand a year before overtime and benefits. That's in a decent-sized city in the Midwest.
Okay.
How about, we see people on reality shows all the time. This person works as a line producer for a reality show. What does that mean? Well, this line producer thankfully explained it. Manages budgets and schedules, hires the crew, handles the travel and logistics, and a whole lot more. But it says it's a 24/7 job, very stressful, and loves it, and makes $4,000 a week.
It's pretty good.
But, you're also off a lot too. A local insurance agent in North Carolina earns $40,000 a year.
Is this things that make you go,
I just think this is interesting when you find out what people make. An active duty military currently stationed in the Middle East, works at the U.S. Embassy, earns $47,000 a year, tax-free.
Yeah. Yeah. Home paid for too.
How about that?
Living paid for, yeah.
So what happens when you are retired? Because I know your father retired Air Force. So the whole time he worked for the Air Force.
Well, he was career Air Force.
He was career Air Force.
So I think he has a government pension, but he was in the Air Force forever.
And so his housing and everything was covered, or was it reduced rate?
No, when we lived on base, it was covered.
That's cool.
Yeah, base housing is.
But then then y'all moved off base.
Yeah, my mom and he wanted their own house. Yeah, so they bought their own house.
Interesting.
Because you have to do certain things on the base housing. It's not like you can add on to it or paint it or make it yours. You're just there for a while.
Right.
So, they wanted their own home.
How about a nurse for 18 years?
Oh, I bet they do pretty well.
Paid hourly. $44.83 an hour.
Wow.
I know there's traveling nurses. Apparently they do a lot of TikToks and they're like, this is the best gig ever. I make so much money. And
they do a lot of humble bragging, don't they?
They do. They're kind of like, come join us. And there's a need for that. You just go in and work a contract for how long? A few months. So you never plant roots, but I guess if you have a little bit of wanderlust in you and you want to see it used to be, if you wanted to see the world or travel, you'd become a flight attendant. But from what I understand, yeah, back in the day, you could travel the world. You become a flight attendant.
See the inside of a bunch of airports.
No, but when you go to the city for layovers and stuff, you get to travel some and see different places. But I don't think that gig is as alluring as it once was.
Right.
And so I think a traveling
They
nurse,
make the rules now for the airlines.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, Alan's going to go off. I shouldn't have even brought that up. Is anybody finding this interesting? I find it very interesting.
I love it. This is great.
You think it's great because you didn't have to do any research for it.
That's not true.
That is the truth. I'll get back to some more because I find this interesting.
Oh, we're going to do some more?
I'm going to do some more. I love this stuff.
All right.
Alan doesn't.
No, it's
so
fine.
I'm going to
tell
Alan,
do some more.
You know what Alan can do? He can put his head down and take a nap. That's fine with me.
I can have a timeout.
Are
you putting me in timeout?
I'll lecture the students who want to learn.
Wait a minute.
And the children who want to hear what the teacher has to say. And the rest of you can put your heads down.
You're putting me in timeout?
If you don't want to participate. Hey, listen, though, I'll get back to that in 1 second, but I do have something important. If you are a small business owner, Alan and I did that online marketing business, and it's a lot of work. And if I had more time to devote to it, if we did, it would probably still be going strong. And I tell you what, if it was, I don't know how we could have done it without stamps.com.
Stamps.com.
Heading into the holidays, you got to be ready for what should be an insane holiday season. And if you have not started preparing for the chaos of holiday mailing and shipping, you're already falling behind. But stamps.com has everything you need to make your life a whole lot easier. It's the 24/7 post office you can access from anywhere, anytime, no lines, no traffic, and there's zero hassle. You get access to all the services you need from the U.S. Postal Service, from UPS, and you can run your business without a lot of fancy equipment. All you need is your laptop and a printer. That's really it, a computer and a printer. If you need a package pickup, you can just schedule it through your stamps.com dashboard. And because rates are constantly changing with stamps.com's switch and save feature, you can easily compare carriers and rates so you know you're getting the best deal every time. And because stamps.com has been doing this over 20 years now, they've negotiated some huge discounts, up to 86% off UPS shipping rates. How can you afford not to be a partner with stamps.com with the holidays coming up? So if you're running an online store, you also need to know that stamps.com works seamlessly with all the major shopping carts and marketplaces too.
So go ahead, get ahead of the holiday chaos this year. Get started with stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code SANDWICH for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code SANDWICH.
And good luck this holiday season, all you small business owners. It's going to be a good one. I have a feeling.
I'm trying to give you another data point for your little thing you're presenting right now.
My little thing.
So my first job right out of college was I was fortunate to find a job with a big corporation in Richardson. This is a suburb of Dallas. So I went from Lubbock in May. I graduated, moved to Dallas in May of 1993. And on June the 1st, I believe, I started. And I was making $27,000 salaried.
Mm-hmm. And that was in the mid-90s, 93?
1993. So I thought, man, this is awesome. I had my own apartment. I bought a car. I bought furniture because I didn't have anything coming from college, and I was like, wow, man, this is pretty good. So I just looked, $27,000 in 1993, so you adjust it for inflation. In today's dollars, that's $55,339.
That's great because I moved here in 94. And I remember, and I'll tell you what I made then, coming to Dallas, Texas, major market radio, working with the Kid Craddock morning show.
Yeah, she's so good.
The general manager at the time, she offered me, it was either $30,000 or $35,000, and this was in 1994.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
And that was more money than I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, I'll take it. I didn't negotiate. I didn't have an attorney, a lawyer, nothing, or an agent. I was just like, thank you. And then when I got here, I started immediately looking for a part-time job. Mm-hmm. And Kid told me, why? Because I was used to working 2 or 3 jobs. I never had one job. And he's like, Kelly, you don't need to do that anymore. You're going to be okay. And, it took a while, but that was in 94. So I guess I was roughly making about the same thing as you, adjusted for inflation, right?
Yeah. And I remember my first apartment, it was under $1,000 a month. I think it was like,
oh, mine was under 1,000.
I want to say it was like 930 or something.
Mine was under 100.
But I had
1,000.
I had a 1-bedroom. And
Back
see,
in the day.
back in the day, man, I was rolling and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, back to what people are making according to this lovely BuzzFeed article. Dental hygienist, my friend worked, let me tell you what, she worked at as a dental hygienist, and it ended up being the dentist office that all the Dallas Mavericks ended up going to.
Oh yeah.
And I believe it's because, if I'm not mistaken, Dirk Nowitzki just happened to be walking by and needed a dentist one day and went in. And I think that's the story. I might have this a little wrong, but I think this is right. And anyway, he, and the players come in and are like, well, I need a dentist. Where do you go? That's what happens,
Mhm.
And so she ended up like getting in tight with all the Mavs. So it was really fun.
That's
but anyway,
cool.
$36 an hour for dental hygienists who are working today. Think about that when you're getting your teeth and gums scraped next time.
I'd pick teeth for $36 an hour, I think.
How about an associate attorney? An associate attorney. But that's not a partner, right? That's not
I don't
partner.
think so. I
That's
think an
just
associate just works there.
Just work there as a lawyer.
Yeah.
At a national law firm's office in Chicago. $375,000 a year plus bonuses. That's why people want to be lawyers right there. But I don't think that's the average experience. I mean, you got to be good to get to that level, right?
Speaking of lawyers.
Did
you hear the big cluster F with Elaine and Amber Heard's lawyers? And
what now?
So
I haven't heard anything recently.
I just saw this on Emily's Instagram. So
who's Emily?
Emily, remember, with the purple hair, who does all the
yeah, Emily B or something.
Yeah.
The lawyer with a YouTube channel.
So Amber Heard had insurance, right, to pay for things like this when they came up, and the insurance companies were refusing to pay her settlement to Johnny Depp. They're like, we ain't paying that. We didn't have anything to do with this. So now they have attorneys that are working for the attorneys, because the attorneys are now suing the attorneys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the insurance companies are being sued by the other attorney. It's like the biggest freaking mess.
It's a mess. Nobody wants to pay, and they'll tie it up so long. Her legal fees must be, I can't even imagine.
Well, how'd you like to be her lawyers that they agreed to represent Amber Heard, thinking, we got
a shot here,
open and shut case here, and
especially
now we're being sued.
Especially after what happened in England, where he lost the libel suit. I guess they thought they had a chance here. All right, so a nanny / family assistant. Now listen to this duty. The duties of this nanny / family assistant: takes care of the kids full time, keeps the house in tip-top shape at all times, does all the grocery shopping and laundry, cleans the house every day, makes all the appointments for the children, medical, haircuts, etc. If something breaks in the house, I find someone to fix it. My hours are 7:45 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, but I often work weekends and late nights when the parents want to go out. I earn $30 an hour for all that, but I also live in the separate guest house, so I pay no rent or bills.
That's
so
big.
You got to add that in too.
That's big.
It has a lot of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I love my job.
She pays no bills.
No, everything's paid for, and she gets $30 an hour, but she works all day, every day, Monday through Friday, 7:45 to 6, weekends and late nights when the parents want to go out.
So her biggest expense, she doesn't even have to pay, no rent. And the first thing that popped in my head was, well, certainly she has to chip in for the air conditioning. She doesn't have to pay that either.
Nothing.
Nice.
That's a sweet gig. If you enjoy that, that's like being a mom, having somebody pay you to be the mom. All right, let's see. An accounting manager at a Marriott branded hotel.
Fascinating.
70 grand.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
An architect in Seattle. Remember who was an architect? Mr. Brady. Remember Mr. Brady from the Brady Bunch? He was an when I hear architect, anytime I hear architect, I always think about Mr. Brady.
Did Mr. Brady have a perm?
He did at one point. Not initially. But man, that man made enough money to support 6 children and have a full-time live-in maid.
2-story house?
In a 2-story rocking house.
California too, right?
California. Yeah. And I was like, man, he must be rich, right? That's what I think of. This architect in Seattle who has about 8 years experience earns $90,000 plus an annual bonus, which ranges between $2,000 and $3,000.
It's pretty good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Human resources hired right out of grad school, $68,500. And after 1.5 years, promoted to managing all aspects of general HR, got a raise to 90 grand.
So my mom did HR.
A certified medical assistant at an urgent care in Milwaukee after 6 years earned
Milwaukee.
$21.90 an hour, working 12-hour shifts, so roughly 40 grand a year. That's a certified medical assistant. That's what those commercials you see on TV. Become a certified medical assistant.
What do they do?
I guess what you do is you just take the blood pressure and the temperatures and the weight and stuff and get the people ready before the doctor sees you.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
I don't think you're allowed to write prescriptions or anything, but you do the temperature and the blood pressure and that kind of what are you here to see the doctor for today?
Gotcha. They ask you the questions and
then working the front desk at a doctor's office.
Put on the paper dress and all that stuff.
Yeah, $15 an hour. A strategic planner for the Department of Defense, $120,000 a year as a contractor.
Oh, and worth every penny, I'm sure.
Travel agent. Now, here's the thing about travel agents. You get lots of perks. They want you to come to their resorts and stuff to check them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine you'd either get free or deep discounts, but only 28 grand a year for this one particular travel agent. An assistant property.
That seems a little low, but
it does. An assistant property manager for high rise in downtown LA, roughly 70 grand a year. An assistant property manager for high rises, plural. So that's more than one.
That's not going far in LA.
Right. A social worker in Mississippi, $37,885 a year. That is very specific.
Jeez.
And how about, okay, we watch these shows like, I'll wrap it up because Alan's glazing over. I think this stuff's interesting.
It is.
And I've got millions more. I'm skipping through.
Let's not do millions more. We can do a couple.
It's not encouraging.
No, we can do a couple more.
Okay, so you see all these people, they're working, the residents on Grey's Anatomy. So resident working 80 hours a week, weekdays, weekends, holidays, earns $55,000 a year before taxes, roughly averages out to just over $13 an hour as a resident, all while having over $300,000 in student loans. This resident said, we do this for 3 to 8 years, depending on what specialty you're in. The pay goes up a little each year, but there's no way we can practice medicine without a residency. So we're all forced into the overworked, underpaid jobs. So that's the sexy life of becoming a surgeon or whatever. A lead line cook at a scratch diner, $20 an hour plus tips.
Let's see
what a stay-at-home mom taking care of a 6-month-old 24/7, $0. I'll end on that one. How about that?
Okay, and I'll give you one more data point, which I think is kind of interesting.
And I have many more I'm not doing.
Oh, no, this was in 1990. Here, hold on. So I had a college job when I came home to Wichita Falls in the summer when I was at Tech, in the summer of 1990. And I was working on the Air Force Base. And I think I've mentioned this on the podcast a long time ago. I was working on the flight line, so washing the canopies on the airplanes and putting gas in them. And when the planes would come back, showing them where to park and all that stuff. So I was just helping out there for a summer. I made $11 an hour. So $11 an hour in 1990 is equivalent to $24.93 today, an hour. I thought I was rolling in the dough. So I did that all summer, and I saved, I remember I saved several $1,000s. So when I went back to Tech, I actually had a little money in my bank account, because my first year there, I had nothing, zero, zip, zilch. My mom and dad, they'd send me $25 a month.
Oh, wow. And
I had a little debit card, and I could go to the university center, and I could pulse out $5. You could pulse out as little as $5. And I remember all my friends giving me so much crap, like, you're actually going to go pulse out $5? And I said, well, yeah, because I got 25 for the month.
Well, when I went to college, and we weren't, as a freshman at Liberty University, I don't know what the rules are now. I only went 1 year. Freshmen were not allowed to hold jobs unless there was just very few exceptions, but you could work at the call center where you would cold call people who had previously made charitable donations to Liberty and ask for more money. And anyway, I didn't like that job very much. So I was poor, and my parents would send me money, and it would be like $20, $25 a month or whatever. And I remember I would save like $1 just so I could do laundry for a week. And I would like hold on to that. Well, they would send me this money. And when I got home from college, I found out they weren't sending me their money. They were sending me my money. They were going into my savings account, and they wiped out my savings account, sending me my money. I had no idea till I got home.
Wow.
There's that. Lessons learned, people.
Now, I will
Lessons
say
learned.
my mom and dad hooked me up with a gas card. That's one thing I do remember.
I wasn't allowed to have a car as a freshman.
Yeah. So I had a car. I had to have a car because I drove from Wichita Falls to Lovin.
Yeah.
And they gave me a like a Chevron card, or it was Gulf at the time, I think. But yeah, so I always had a way to go somewhere, but I just didn't have a lot of spending money.
Yeah.
But then I finally started working in the summers, and then I was okay after that.
Man, you had it made. You had a car.
Yeah.
You could work at a job.
Yeah.
It didn't require begging people for money.
Yeah, and in our dorm, it was a co-ed dorm. We weren't on the
A co-ed dorm.
No,
we didn't have that.
We weren't on the same floor as the girls,
still.
but they're in the adjacent dorm.
No, we didn't have that.
And right in the middle, we had a sand volleyball pit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a lot of action.
Oh gosh.
Were you a star player?
But bounce with me. No, I was not a star player. I was not very good at volleyball.
Did you go out there and try to pick up girls?
No, I would just go down. They had an area like right behind it and these windows, and you could study. So you could go down there and study
while other people had fun playing
while
volleyball.
they're out there goofing around. Right.
No, we weren't allowed to. We didn't. If we ever had to have a man come up on our floor to help like move something that was really heavy, you'd have to announce, "Man on the floor."
Wow.
Yeah.
Like he's an animal.
Yeah, because what if a girl came out and she was in, her pajamas or something? He might see that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so last podcast, I told y'all I was going to start reading some of the 5-star reviews.
Okay.
And we're going to start ending the podcast on that positive note, right? And guess what, Alan?
You found
Put
one?
it out there.
You were able to find one?
And you get them. Don't get me wrong. People are still leaving 1-star reviews, but I'm not reading the negative. We're going to be ending on positive
You know what they can do?
Pound sand?
They can do that. You know what else?
I don't know, Alan, but let's keep it positive.
Jump in the lake.
We're keeping it positive.
Piss up a rope.
And we're talking about maybe like once a month.
Go fly a kite.
But the thing is, how am I going to do this? How do we reward people? Like if we did a random drawing and gave away a prize once a month to a 5-star reviewer.
Isn't this something we should be doing offline?
I know, but see, I'm working it out here on the podcast. It's way more fun. All right. So this is from Heather's Lyft driver. And she said, "Can I only give 5 stars?
Wow.
You two are the perfect couple. You compliment each other."
Obviously doesn't know us very well.
Alan, it's a 5-star review. Stop. Stop.
Sorry. I'm kidding.
I've been a Kellie fan for years.
Wait,
now,
what? Huh?
if you let me finish the sentence.
I'm sorry.
And now a huge Alan fan.
Oh.
Love the podcast. Looking forward to hearing about your new life together, as well as your newly blended family. Well, I guess she just, you know what? She might have started listening from the beginning.
She may have.
And maybe didn't even know that we're going to be reading these 5-star reviews. But anyway, she says, "Best wishes to you and your family." She just wrote this and is probably listening from the beginning of the podcast because it's our new lives together and our new family. That's when we started the podcast just over 5 years ago. How about that? So thank you.
A lot of catching up to do.
Heather's Lyft driver.
A lot of poopy stories to go through too.
All right, let's scroll past the
there's more?
the ones. I said I was going to read 2
Okay.
per podcast. This is from Robin Bird 68. It says, "So funny and down to earth. I just love this podcast. I love how Kellie and Alan are so real. They are happily married, but still have their issues, and they don't hide that." There you go. Again, written before I asked for 5-star
Can I
reviews.
read one of the 1 stars?
No, I said we're not going to read.
Funny.
We're not going to read negative.
It's funny though.
Just one.
Okay.
Just one, but that's it.
Okay. Here's a 1-star. Let's see. This was left not too long ago, May of 22. "Negative people. Always picking on others.
Why do you have to read in that voice?
Especially her coworkers. Alan is a man-child with serious anger management issues. If this were their first marriage, would have ended bitterly for sure."
I hope everybody's eardrums survived that. That was loud and annoying.
You know what's interesting about like negative reviews? It's fine. One thing.
Why do you have to read them like that?
One thing because that's the voice that they write them in. Negative reviews, okay, you don't like to get them, but they're fine because I think it shows like you're authentic. You're not culling out all the bad reviews. Like you're going to have some bad ones, and hopefully you have more good ones, right?
I'm going to read the 5-star ones.
Well, yeah, you're going to read the positive ones. That's great. But I guess my point is, if you're not like ticking off at least a few people, you're probably not doing it right? I mean, you can't make everybody happy, is my point.
Right. But a 1-star is really not happy.
Well, I'm sorry.
They could have done a 3-star.
I'm sorry.
I'd be okay with 3.
But you know what's interesting? I see these things where they're anonymous and there's no way to get a hold of the person, but nobody ever sends me anything directly or on social media, which is interesting.
I do. I get negatives, and then usually I reach out and I say, like, I'm sorry you feel that way or something. And they'll always write back, oh, I didn't think you'd see that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like you. I was just having a bad day. That's 99% of the time what happens.
Yeah.
People just need to get stuff off their chest.
Thank
you for the glowing 5-star reviews.
Yes, thank you so much.
And the just very rare occasional 1-star. That's okay.
We'll try to not be negative people who pick on our coworkers.
They're talking about me at the Kid Craddock Morning Show.
That
was talking about me.
And if this was our first marriage, it would have ended bitterly for sure.
Probably.
Even though second marriages, statistically speaking, fail more than first marriages.
Right.
So not sure what the hell she's talking about.
I'm going to start. Man, I got to figure out what I'm going to do for number 3.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So anyway, thank you all for listening to this podcast. Hopefully some of you enjoyed finding out what people earn, because I find it fascinating. And maybe Alan will find something even more interesting to talk about next podcast. That's on him, isn't it? But I'll be back with more 5-star reviews at the end of the next podcast. If you'd like to leave a rating, I'm not telling you it has to be 5 stars, but if you want me to read it, go to wherever you subscribe to A Sandwich and Some Lovin' and leave that, and we'll pull a couple next time. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, Sin Galvin's been doing such a great job for us with our Sandwiches and Lovin'. What was I going to say? Instagram page at A Sandwiches and Lovin'. I'm at Kellie Rasberry on Instagram and at Kellie Rasberry Evans on Facebook.
At the Alonzo 1971 on Instagram. I do most of my very best work there on the social midges or Facebook. No Twitter.
You're Alan Evans on Facebook.
No TikTok.
I have a TikTok, but I haven't done anything with it.
That's
good.
I
know we're supposed to, but I really don't want to.
Doesn't TikTok just make you dumber?
No.
Are
There's
you
actually
sure?
a lot of really helpful things on TikTok. Just like people could have said the same thing about Instagram, and there's a lot of helpful things on there too. It is what you make of it.
Yeah.
It is what you make of it, right?
Is there learning going on TikTok? I don't know.
They teach you things. There are people that have things that teach you. You have to seek those out.
There's how-to stuff.
And there's also others that are just wasting our time.
Yeah.
And I don't get this thing about where you take a sound bite and you just move your mouth like you're saying what somebody else said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why that's a thing. I don't like that. That's a waste of time, in my opinion.
Would it be accurate to say that 95% of the stuff on TikTok is just jackassery?
Why are you so negative?
I'm not.
I'm trying to end on a positive note.
I'm not. I'm just asking the question.
I don't know. I haven't spent hours researching TikTok,
okay.
But a lot of people find joy in it. And for a lot of lonely people, it is a way for them to connect.
That's sad. They should read a book or something.
How are they connecting to other people through books?
Oh.
At least they have ways. They have little TikTok communities and people they communicate with, and they feel like they are participating in a group.
There used to be book clubs. Remember that?
With Oprah?
Oh, well, I wouldn't talk about Oprah, but people would get together and discuss their books.
Or drink. I mean, that's just an excuse. I mean, come on.
All right, babe. I love you desperately.
Love you.
I love our listeners desperately.
Love y'all.
I love that list desperately you presented tonight. That was some good information, babe. Took us down memory lane as to how much we used to make.
Thanks, honey.
But I'm sure we'll podcast again real soon. And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich. Bye. Wow. We went a lot longer than I thought we would. 55 minutes with 2 sponsors. It's quite a long podcast.
Is that a problem?
No, just probably a little longer than we needed to go. That's okay.
Well, thanks, Sin.
What'd Cindy?
She took notes so I don't have to really think about it too much.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Sin.
I didn't know Tech was playing NC State. Rachel is right. Is NC State any good? Charles said a sandwich and Kellie reading a list.
Was he jumping on the bandwagon with you?
I don't know. I'm just, this is when people submit their names. That's the first one that came up.
You can come up with what we do next time.
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
You're making me feel bad.
No, I'm not. I love it. People love lists. That's what Michael said. A sandwich and some people love lists. Boom.
Nope.
A sandwich and some salary. A sandwich and some I'm bad at this, guys. Need some help. Oh, a sandwich and a surprising wage. She never picks yours, Christy, so we'll just pass. Oh, Rachel, we're going to lose then. A sandwich and some show me the money. There you go. There you go. Boom. Done. Done. Christy said she had to see your blank stare to complete the day. Whenever she submits an idea for the podcast title, you always just do a blank stare.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone. I'm going to go in the other room and finish this.
Why?
Because y'all are all hurting my feelings.
No, you have very easily hurt feelings tonight.
Feelings.
No,
Make me
don't
feel
have-
like I wasted everybody's time.
You did it. It was good stuff, babe.
No, when you're sitting there telling me how boring it is, I've
just-
been doing it. That's
No,
not
it
very
wasn't. I
encouraging.
wasn't telling you it was boring. I gave you more heck when you did the Shonda Rhimes thing. I was engaged, asking questions. All right, guys. Let's see. I'm about to run out of laptop here. Yeah. See, Darla said she loved it. She loves lists.
Thank you.
All right. We would talk to you soon, guys. I'm about to run out of charge here. Oh, see you next week after Dylan's birthday.